If you don't have this, you can't Agile. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast. Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams. To my fantastic followers, my loyal friends, I appreciate you being here today. Welcome, and thank you for tuning into the show. There's this fossilized thing that we don't like to talk about because we don't trust that it has anything to do with business. You couldn't be more wrong. Without creativity, there is no innovation. Without creativity, there is no solutioning. Without creativity, there is no joy, freedom, or autonomy in the work that we do. So what does it mean? Why does it matter? How do we get it? Well, first, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works, relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what we need to do to be agile, but we're going to focus on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. If this helps you, tell your friends. Sign up for my YouTube channel. We're producing a lot of new stuff. It's also a great way to listen to the podcast itself and to subscribe and make sure you never miss an episode. And don't forget to find us on social media, Clubhouse, TikTok, Instagram, all the big ones. We're there. You can also join the Badass Agile Listener Lounge on Facebook. It's the best and only place to watch me truly fumble with technology in an attempt to create true connection and community in this space. Okay, creativity. I like to think that I have boundless creative output. Not only do I write a couple of podcasts every week, but I also do videos. I write my own copy. I write books. I have an online magazine. I write my own theme songs and music. And sometimes I dabble in things like scripts, photography, videography, and others. I never want to stop writing and creating things. I love generating new ideas. I love that everything that goes through my little brain could someday become a real thing, something that other people would enjoy or get value from. Does that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound like what we do in an Agile team room? We're supposed to be creating things of value for the people that we serve. And we're constantly seeking new and exciting ways to make sure we deliver more of the value up front so that we waste less time creating things that don't matter. As Agile leaders, you need to constantly create new ways to energize people, to motivate them, to connect them, and perhaps most importantly, to help them keep improving. We also have to help our clients and product owners continuously innovate. So a fresh and steady supply of new ideas is essential, and yet we pay absolutely no credence to the lost art of creativity. That seems to be a bit of a shame. How can we become more creative? The steps are really simple. If you or your teams want to have a more robust and fruitful creative practice, whether you're making podcasts or whether you're making software features, whether you're creating new and improved processes or means to deliver what you deliver, the technique is exactly the same. Number one, sit down, make a practice every day of just writing ideas. Either promise yourself to go for 60 seconds or 5 minutes, or force yourself to come up with a list of 10. Either way, resist the temptation to put the pen down and just ideate. Now, you can ideate on different stuff every day. Today, I might make a list of 10 podcast ideas, but tomorrow, I might come up with 15 different ways we could solve a customer's problem. What would inspire people to change behaviors? Here's 10 ideas. Make creativity part of your daily ritual. It gets boring if you're tackling the same problem domain every day, so I actually encourage you to just think about stuff. What are 10 presentations that I could give at a conference? What are 10 different ways to get into flow? 50 ways I could save my customer money. All of these are forcing the creative brain to think of things. Now, the important step in number one here is to not judge the idea. Judgment is the most corrosive force in human thought and emotion. Just let the ideas be. Write them down, let them flow. Step number 2, once in a while you got to go back through them. You got to flip through these pages of ideas. Most days you can just leave it alone. Finish your ideation, your brainstorm, walk out of the room, go about your day. But once in a while, you must, and this is the part that most creatives hate, you must go back and filter for gold. Trust me, on any given day you can have 10 ideas. 9 of them will be bad, and the sooner you get comfortable with that, the better you'll perform. But one of them will be genius. 1 genius thought a day? Are you kidding me? That's 30 genius ideas a month, 365 a year. How could the world change if we took on this practice? Now, what happens next to these creative ideas is really the execution side, and it's here where the creativity gives way to the rational, the logical, and all the planning and all the details. We really want to focus today on the creative side. So once you've got your 30 days worth of or 1 week's worth of golden ideas, put them into a backlog. And like any other backlog, prioritize which ones you want to execute or work on first. Figure out the MVP, blah, blah, blah. We're all Scrum experts. We should know this stuff. So step 1, brainstorm daily or habitually. Step 2, groom. But what if you have trouble with the brainstorming process itself? Here are things that will generate fresh, creative ideas consistently. Number 1, read lots of books. By studying other ideas, you free your mind. You all of a sudden see what might be possible. You open your eyes to things that you simply couldn't have had access to before you read this book. Number 2, listen to or participate in conversations. Whether those conversations are in person or whether you're watching some people dispute or discuss an idea, let's say on YouTube, passions will come up, ideas will come up, evidence and proof and things that you never heard of or thought of before will come up. And like a great book, they'll open your mind. But they will also inspire you to say, hey, I think what you said here is very right, but what you said here is very wrong, and I have a better idea. This is fantastic because it takes all of the things that you believe that you grew up with, all of the things that you've been taught and told, the sum of your experiences to this particular moment, and it merges them with a new set of ideas or concepts. It is that union of the old and the new that creates really valuable creative thought. And hey, likewise, you can go on social media too, because a lot of conversation is happening there. So number 3, get yourself online, but don't spend too much time there and just scroll through your favorite social media platform and see what people like you or unlike you are saying about our industry or the people that we serve. What's new and exciting in tech? What's not working in Agile? By listening to podcasts like these or participating in comment threads, let's say on LinkedIn, you're exposing yourself to challenges to the established way of thinking, challenges to your particular way of thinking, and opening up the door for a free flow of creative ideas. Number 4, travel and new experiences is also a great one for the same reason. It frees your mind. It shakes you loose of your conventional thinking. It forces you to problem solve creatively. What happens if you need a washroom but you can't speak the language wherever you happen to be? The solutions arrive quickly, don't they? And that brings me to number 5, which is probably the most important one. Have pain and value conversations with everyone that you can. When you meet people, ask them, what do they value? What do they want? Where are they heading? And what stops them from getting it? If you're in the business of solutioning, of solving people's problems, the best way to get started and the best way to maximize your ability to help the greatest number of people is to find out what they want, why they can't get it, and why that hurts. Most of the time, we go into the team room and we work on things and we're not exactly sure how this helps make the world better. We're not 100% certain what problem we're solving today. Isn't that strange? Do we ever really ask, who is this helping? How will this make their life better? Why does that matter to us? How do we know this is what they really want? Until we start asking those questions, we're leaving a vast amount of opportunities on the table unsolved, unaddressed. The people that we make things for assume that we don't care, that we don't know, we don't understand, And we sometimes adopt the stance that management doesn't care to share it with us, that we don't need to know. Just give us the spec and we'll build the thing. But if you injected some creativity by having more value conversations with people, you would understand your customer intimately. You'd know what they want. You'd know what they fear. You'd know what they hate and what they struggle with. The moment you do that, you can put laser focus on them. And when you're brainstorming in the morning, one of your questions or prompts could be, what are the top 10 ways I can make my customer's life better now? What are 10 ways I could solve their lack of momentum? What are 10 ways I could solve their vendor problems? What are 10 ways I could solve their budget leakage? When you use your creativity to make problems go away for people, make them more money, reduce their time, their energy, their frustration, you yourself become infinitely valuable. And this is why it's so important to stress the value of creativity, because it is the simplest and most certain way to ensure that your customers, your stakeholders are happy, and the longevity of your career. It's also just way more fun to have genius moments every morning. So I hope you take this on. What do you think? Reach out and ask me any questions or give your comments. You can find me at badassagile.com, on Twitter at badass_agile, on Instagram and TikTok at badassagile. Check the links below as well to join the Facebook Listener Lounge and find me on YouTube. I truly believe that my digital and in-person experiences can make people better, companies better, and the world better. And I was put on this planet to deliver exactly that. So I would love to talk to you or your company about how I can serve. Please reach out so I can meet you. Folks, I look forward to next time. And until then, stay badass.